Hey everyone, welcome to another Learning Crypto YouTube. I hope you're well, hope you had a good weekend, but we do need to talk about a few things first. 30% discount on our courses if you've never checked them out, Learning Crypto, it is in the description below. But today we are looking to release our final segment of the educational package online, which is essentially the advanced course. It's coming out today. So yeah, if you've never checked our other stuff out, the plan was to release three separate things on our online educational roadmap, so to speak, and then we're going to focus on other avenues going forward. So if you've not checked it out yet, please do, and you are going to see some fresh content coming. We're going to be doing a lot of free lessons on our YouTube, a lot of tutorial based stuff, like a mini crash course to help people with the basic stuff that is not on our free course. We do have a free course here, which is all about the beginner, literally brand spanking new, but we all know that people search things on YouTube, so we're gonna get some nice little tutorials to help people. So first things first, we need to talk about fundamentals. This was released on Friday morning on our premium, so in terms of this video, this goes live on premium straight off the bat. And yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, please do leave a like, comment and subscribe while you're here. It makes a big difference. So we have got some mental statistics in terms of greed right now. Even this morning, reading it this morning, there's a little bit of a lag here, but it doesn't matter because it's still the same number. It's pretty savage. So in terms of what's happened, we've had some real good news actually in terms of, you know, FUD essentially from the OKX exchange a few weeks back. With that, essentially what was coming out was one of the co-founders has been arrested, gagged, tied up in a chair and getting beaten up by the Chinese police. That wasn't real. I just made that up. But it was the way people were talking that, oh my God, the co-founder's been, you know, arrested. Oh God, where's our money going? So essentially what happened was it was a bit of a key issue. And what they did was they locked all the withdrawals just in case there was no security flaws, which is fine, which is good. But I do think that they need to improve their security in terms of having that, you know, it's a big exchange. You don't want to be just locking off the all that. So it should be synced to a multi-sig wallet essentially. And I think that is going to be the case moving forward. So yeah, that's all good. Happy days. Bitcoin mining revenue hits all-time highs, which is obviously savage in itself. Mining is a weird one. You've got to really get your head around it in terms of how it works. If the difficulty adjustment drops too much, you know, you're going to get a bit of a pushback from the miners because they're going to be basically making a ton more money for the output resource. If it goes too high, ultimately they're going to be getting less revenue. But when that does happen, the price is usually quite high in Bitcoin. So you got to look at those, the price dynamics of the difficulty adjustment and the price of Bitcoin. Sometimes if they go a bit too weird, it tends to cause a bit of a market move. In terms of looking forward to a new project, if you want to look at, you know, Celso taps Chorus 1 to build a bridge with the Cosmos blockchain. So essentially, more multiple kind of blockchains are starting to come in. You've probably seen the interoperability with other blockchains, which is quite good. So when you've got stuff like this, it makes life a bit easier for people to be able to buy, sell, you know, use USD. So it's definitely one to look at. So Cosmos is working with numerous cross-chain bridges, including Ethereum, Polkadot, and Cardano, if I said that right. But yeah, this is starting to become a thing. You've seen it with the likes of Zilliqa. You've seen it likes with Polkadot as well, where a lot of coins are going onto Ethereum and Polkadot, but you're also seeing stuff like Zilliqa that is going to allow a bridge to the Ethereum network. Essentially, great, you know, because we all know how big the fees are in terms of Ethereum. Zilliqa is much cheaper, so it's much better. And finally, obviously, Uni liquidity rewards. Well, great. If anyone enjoyed the free money, great, go for it. You've probably bought a PlayStation 5 with that now, but you know, with all this, it's great to see that there is some sort of use case for rewards on this. However, as I say, do your research on Uni. I personally wouldn't recommend it as an investment. I would recommend it as a use case more than anything. But yeah, if you want to use it for governance and voting, yeah, go for it. But you know, if you got the free tokens, great, you know, great way of doing it. But absolutely huge amount of money what was brought out with that, and you got to think how much was generated very, very quickly as well. So all is well. And yeah, let's move on to some chart stuff, I think, because some people love them more than this, which is always good. So we're going to talk first about Bitcoin for the obvious reason, because of what it is, how it has been so categorically bullish. And even this morning, looking at this candle, thinking, oh, hello. So let's talk about it. So we've had a massive up run, and I'm not going to even, I'm not going to beat around the bush here and say that, last week I was categorically saying we are pretty much on the cusp of reaching all-time highs, and I think that will happen most likely this week, right? One more move. But the funniest thing was, now we got to a point where there's no real big extensions to look at other than going back in time and thinking, well, actually, where can we go? Well, we can actually go, all-time high. That's it. That is the next point of call. If I just put a line here where this wick is, which is what? It is roughly 19,600, so we're like, what? $1,100 away, which is absolutely crazy. I mean, I was saying stuff at the start of this run thinking, we're never going to go to all-time highs. Well, what do you know? Sometimes things happen, but when you look at the weekly time frame, you're just looking at those weekly prints, it's just absolutely savage. We've got how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bullish, well, I say 7, that's debatable, but even still, you know what I mean. Looking very, very strong. RSI is obviously really high, 84 levels, 85, which is obviously high. But sometimes when you think about hopium, hordes of people, new traffic, FOMO, they want in. And I described it yesterday on the VIP and Premium that this market is like a game of hungry hippos at the moment, because ultimately people are just, any dip, people are buying it. And that is all we've got to look at on Bitcoin right now. Every single dip, people are buying it. In terms of potential movements on the downside, possible. It is definitely possible that we do get a retracement and we do drop back a little bit. People are going to blow off steam. People are going to take profit at some point. And we've got to look at those levels and if it is a top or whatever. But for me personally, I think if it does retrace, and if we're starting from September to now, for example, and we're looking at a potential retracement on this, in my opinion, even down to this level here, 15,400, it wouldn't be a bad thing at all. It would not be at all. And when you look back at the previous bull runs and stuff like that, when you look at like going back in time, let's go back in time actually. Let's find these, because a lot of people don't quite understand market pullbacks, and they ultimately basically shit themselves. When you look at the previous run, now this is back in 2017, and you're looking at these sharp pullbacks, and you're looking at stuff like this. Look at that, over a period of 13 days, boys and girls, right? We went down 43%. That is madness. Again, same with this point here. Look at this, a massive sharp pullback. What do we go down by? 30%. Look at this wick here, down to these wicks here. That was from 11,400 down to 8, 9, which is absolutely crazy. It does happen. Markets pull back. There's always going to be that regression. So if that does happen, and we're saying some of them went down by 30%, it's the equivalent of us going down to 13k, which it's possible, definitely possible, especially over a period of time. So if that does happen, whatever, it happens. But ultimately, we've got to remember the trend is a friend, right? Got to remember that. And we could sharply pull back. And in my opinion, if that pullback does come, and we do go down to the 618 level here, which is a 30% drop, but then we look at the upside potential from that up to 24k basically, that's possible, definitely possible. So just food for thought. Don't just go gun blazing into Bitcoin because it's going to go to $1 million. It might not even happen. So just be very, very careful. In my opinion anyways, anything can happen in this market. I've got a load of dots on my chart. I don't know what they're from. I don't even know what these are from. They're very odd. I will remove those dots immediately. There we go. Strange. There we go. Anyways, we'll look at a few altcoins because this is where the bulk of the content is. The gravy, essentially. Let's look at Ethereum first, and we're going to look at Tezos, and then we're going to do some fresh analysis on one of them. And I want to talk about altcoins right now because I was putting a lot of analysis on the groups yesterday, thinking, right, I'm going to look at these, looking really, really good. I'm happy with these. Yeah. However, I do not trade, right? I do not trade. Now, when I look at this is how it moved, right? This was me doing this about 10 p.m. on Saturday, right? Where the Fibonacci is, you can see it, right? I just wanted to leave this on there for learning, right? The market just jolted right up further, and then obviously going from there. So I went from this swing to basically here. When I went to bed, it went like this, and then when I woke up, it basically the candle was here. It was a crazy candle. So essentially, it was wrong. But when you look at it, anyways, it's a missed opportunity. I never ever do this. I never trade off one candle. I just don't. I trade on the daily. If people know me, I trade off the daily. I invest off the daily. I'm a daily person, right? Because it's just a lot safer and easier. So when I see stuff like this, where it's like a wick from the top to the bottom, EMA retest over the 8, which has happened on a lot of them, and off we go. It's a missed opportunity. If you're on the lower time frames, though, and you look at this on the lower time frames, and you see, the absolute enormity of essentially this drop is one of them. But when you look at this, it's actually this one. Really, when we're looking at it, it's like it's so little. It's like such a tiny dip. And I was saying this on Twitter. It's basically this. It's this drop. It's like, how many hours? It's not many at all, and you got to think of that. It's quite scary. Actually, is it that one? No, it's not. Bear with me. No, it's not. It's this. I'm confused. Wait there a minute. Let me just. Wait a minute. Yeah, it is. It's because of that moving on the daily. So basically, we're looking at that previous level. So when you look at that, this is what happened during the day. It's like, oh, it's pulling back. Then it jolted during the night, or just before I went to bed, essentially, and it's just weird. The way it happened, it was just weird. But other than that, you've got to think, well, when I trade, when I look at the markets, I always look for more than one candle. It just makes more sense, in my opinion, when you look at things. So that there, kiboshed. So wait for another opportunity with that one. Basically, that is not enough for a pullback. It's basically, you could probably argue that's a bit of a fake out. Especially when you look at the lower time frames. You go down to the 1 hour time frame, you can see the dip. It's like boom, 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 off it goes. It's crazy. So you have to be pretty quick, and when you start to look at it, it's like, oh my god, it's dying. People selling the dips, obviously. Moving on to another, obviously, trade. This was one of the better setups I've ever made, and it still actually could be quite good in reality. And this was the area, and again, looking at certain regions and levels to kind of get involved in this is quite a good one. Again, the area was actually decided, obviously, this box here. Obviously, the way I trade, I put 3 orders within this box. Basically, the 382, basically the 50 level in between the middle of it, and then obviously the 618. And again, same situation where you got one candle at the top, and then wicks down into the EMA 8, and it goes. Obviously, it does go. And I do feel that we are going to go from this point here with this liquidity grab up towards basically $15 again and beyond, maybe up to $17 now, which is the retracement of the 786 of this overall structure. So that's a potential setup there. But for me, like, I don't trade these, but if you are looking on the lower time frames, you can see this, and this is what you're seeing. You're seeing a nice little retracement into it, and then off it goes. But for me, as I say, I need more than one candle. I just cannot do, I cannot do it with just the one candle. It just doesn't make sense, because it could be a fake out, and it could actually drop down and drop lower and wipe you out, essentially. So you just got to be very, very careful. Moving on to the likes of Tezos and stuff. This is the one that I've been trying to do for ages. As you can see, again, same situation. Candle close here in terms of like looking at the momentum of, oh, it's turning around, boys and girls, yay. But during the same day, the wick just generated, was like boom, oh my god. Again, into those EMA 8 levels, and then boom, rocket ship. Absolutely horrendous kind of move, realistically, like catching so many people out. And it's like a real solid kind of up thrust. And Tezos needs to do this. It's a laggard. It's been trying to do this for a while, and I've been trying to get into this for about 3-4 weeks now. Still waiting. So I'm waiting for this to fully turn around, as in like, going from a certain point, retrace, and then we'll continue that move going forward, because it still has, even from this point here right now, it could still go up 11% to this first level, 36% to that level, and maybe even to that level 54. So there's still gains in this. You can see that. But I need to get in safely, because this is quite volatile. It's quite movie. and it has been in a horrendous downtrend for a while. I tried to get in here, but it was very, very risky, and obviously I actually got some profit last week on this, a small bag of profit. It wasn't great. Bitcoin was not playing ball, and neither was this. Everything was moving, altcoins were moving, this wasn't. It was really, really a pain. So finally, it's broken up a bit, it's broken structure, so we're looking for some new levels. I'll wait for it to retrace. If it does, whenever, whatever, we'll be patient with it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this one is a one to keep an eye on. So if it does turn around and actually does retrace into a structure level where all these wicks are, where this wick is, where these bodies are, it may well be a good launch pad from this. So we'll see what it does. But let's do a little bit of analysis on Cardano because it has got a lot of interest. Again, naked chart, but I put this Fibonacci on there just to show you the importance of a pullback and how I look for them. As you can see here, bottom, top, into the pullback, into the trend essentially. You are now starting a bullish trend. There was a bit of a bullish trend here. It retraced quite heavily and it started again. It's now formed a really strong trend, and as you can see here where it is, it's like, oh, hello, resistance, 15 cents. So this could be fun. So let's do some analysis on this in terms of one final thing before we go. The main thing that I look at more than anything is the weekly time frame. Now the big thing with this, you don't have that much data realistically from this on the weekly time frame, but what we're looking at mainly is this. We are looking at basically where can we go and why can we go there. So if we're looking at that, we've already seen here we've got an absolutely massive monster key level. It's already reacted off it, obviously here, you know, you can see that, boom. Let me just make these green. So what we're looking at is some, you know, simple, oh, wrong one. Where is it? There. Happy days. So we are looking at obviously key levels of where things are. That'll do for that for now, but then we've got these extensions up here. In my opinion, I think this is where we're going to. We're going up to 19 cents, and then we're potentially going up to 23, which would be even nicer, obviously, moving forward into the extension levels, which is quite a way away. But what we need to look at as well is, well, is this possible? Well, in my opinion, yes. When you look left and you think, well, actually, where can this be and where has it been? You got to look now at the daily. The daily time frame is going to tell us a few little things very, very quickly. One, we've not been here for a long time. When you look at that wick in and around where this level is. When you look at these regions here, you got a wick here of resistance in and around where this level is. So there's a lot of stuff here, but we can go much higher. Look at where this wick is here. If you can just about see, it's faint, I know. If I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see it. So you can just about see it. There we go. So if I move that along here, look at these areas where these wicks and stuff are topped. These are key levels, psychological key levels. So that is the next point to call, in my opinion, for Cardano. I think once this is broken, we're going to get some interest. Obviously, there's going to be some areas of interest with this if it does pull back. When you can see this resistance level and support, this is a huge level, 13 cents there. That is like a massive, massive level, in my opinion. So that could be the support structure, but we are testing this level. We could break out. If this breaks out, it's going to 19 cents very, very quickly, in my opinion. So it's looking incredibly strong. There's a lot of fundamentals around it as well with the new releases of new chain stuff coming out. Basically, smart contracts is coming out on Cardano. A real strong long-term hold, and it could get very, very interesting. So there we go. Hope you enjoy. I know it's a bit of a long one today, bit of analysis, but Cardano looks strong. Obviously, Bitcoin still, in my opinion, looks strong. It could dip, but it might not dip for a few weeks. Yeah, we don't know. There's a lot of, you know, FOMO buying right now, and Christmas is coming. Santa rallies are a thing. So yeah, definitely remember your risk management. But when you look at this chart alone on Cardano, absolutely savage. It's not even fully pulled back yet. When you consider where it's been, this was the first move, essentially the first pullback into a perfect zone. Boom, into the 3.8, you know, well, even further than the 3.82, it's 618. Pop, off you go, my friend. Savage, absolutely savage, and yeah, we love to see that.